away. So you walk into a room, right? Maybe like an old basement or even just a corner of your office that hasn't seen the light of day in a while.
Oh, yeah.
And bam, that unmistakable musty smell hits you.
You know the one.
The one that makes you wonder what's lurking behind the walls.
Right.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. The hidden health risks of water damage and mold.
It's more than just a smell.
It really is.
Yeah.
And trust me, folks, you don't want your detective hats on for this one.
Absolutely.
We're taking a deep dive into a webinar by Dr. Nicole Bijlsma,
Okay.
and she is a leading expert
Wow.
in building biology. She practically wrote the book in Australia.
No kidding.
Seriously.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And the webinar was hosted by CARSI. They're the Australian Cleaning and Restoration Association.
Yeah.
And they went all out promoting it, which tells you this is important stuff even for the pros.
That's interesting because they even launched a new Mould Testing Technician Course based on the webinar content.
Wow.
So it really highlights how seriously they're taking this whole issue of hidden dangers from water damage.
Right. It's like they say out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But in this case, ignorance is definitely not bliss.
Not at all.
So let's unpack what Dr. Bijlsma had to say about the health risks of mold, because it's way more than just a few sneezes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
While the excerpt we have focuses more on solutions, Dr. Bijlsma likely went into some detail about the more serious health risks linked to certain types of mold.
Okay.
Things like aspergillus, which can cause some pretty nasty lung infections, especially in people with weaker immune systems.
Oh, wow.
And then there's Stachybotrys. You probably know it better as black mold.
Okay. Yeah.
That one's been linked to neurological problems and even scary stuff like pulmonary bleeding in infants.
That is scary stuff. It's like a horror movie waiting to happen.
Right.
Except it could be playing out in your own home.
Exactly.
That's
And what's worse, you might not even know it until it's too late.
Exactly. Which is why what Dr. Bijlsma said next is so crucial.
Okay, let's hear it.
She stressed the absolute necessity of testing in any building that's had water damage.
Testing.
Okay.
And that makes sense because most people think if they can't see it, it's not there.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right. But that's just not true. Mold can grow anywhere, behind walls, under carpets, inside air ducts, you name it.
It's sneaky like that.
It is. It can be lurking unseen, releasing all these harmful spores into the air you breathe.
Okay, so testing is crucial. We've established that. But how do we actually find the source of the problem?
Yeah, mold doesn't exactly leave a return address, does it?
It's a mystery sometimes.
This is where moisture mapping comes in. It's like detective work, but for your building.
Okay, I like it.
Dr. Bijlsma is a huge advocate for this approach.
So tell me more.
Imagine you have a leak in your roof, but you only see the water stain on your ceiling.
Right.
Moisture mapping isn't about just fixing the stain.
Okay.
It's about finding that leaky roof, the root cause.
So instead of just ripping out the moldy drywall and calling it a day,
Exactly.
you're going full Sherlock Holmes on this moisture problem.
Precisely.
I like it. So we're talking about moisture mapping here,
Oh.
finding the root of the problem.
Yeah.
But why is it so important, especially for people in the restoration industry?
Okay, so they're the ones dealing with water damage all the time. Right.
Exactly.
So it comes down to duty of care.
Duty of care.
Yeah. Dr. Bill Gilsma really emphasized that
Uh-huh.
restoration professionals, they're not just fixing buildings,
It's bigger than that.
right? They're impacting the health and well-being of the people who live and work in those buildings.
Totally. It reminds me of that time my basement flooded.
Oh, no.
I just wanted the water gone.
Yeah.
But looking back, I wish I'd known more about the mold risks.
Right.
I probably inhaled a year's worth of spores just cleaning up.
It happens to the best of us. But that's exactly why duty of care is so important. It's also about protecting themselves.
Protecting themselves, how so?
Legally, if they can demonstrate that they took all the right steps to identify and address the mold problem,
Okay.
it protects them from liability issues down the line.
That makes sense. So it's not just good practice,
Yeah.
it's good business sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many people are living or working in buildings that might have a hidden mold problem and they have no idea.
Right. That's a scary thought.
Mm.
Which brings us back to the Mould Testing Technician Course that CARSI is launching.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
Based on Dr. Bijlsma's webinar,
Wow.
it shows how important this all is. They're recognizing the need for specialized knowledge
Yeah.
and investing in training to meet that need.
I mean, imagine you're dealing with water damage in your home.
Right.
Wouldn't you want someone who's been specifically trained to deal with mold issues?
Absolutely. It's like the difference between calling a general handyman versus a licensed electrician.
Exactly.
They might both be able to change a light bulb,
Yeah.
but when it comes to complex wiring, you want the expert.
Right. You want someone who knows what they're doing.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Say someone's listening right now thinking, this is fascinating, but what can I actually do with this information?
Right.
What's our key takeaway for them?
Good question.
Mm.
I think it boils down to two main points.
Mm.
First, awareness is key.
Okay.
Just knowing that mold can be a serious health risk and that it's not always visible.
Right.
That's huge.
So it's about being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
Ah.
Don't wait until you're knee-deep in black mold to take it seriously.
Better safe than sorry.
Right. If you notice a musty smell, see any signs of water damage, or even just have a gut feeling something's not right, don't ignore it.
Get it checked out.
Exactly. The sooner you catch it, the easier and less expensive it is to fix.
And the second point.
A second point is empowerment.
Okay, I like that.
For those in the restoration industry, the webinar and the upcoming course, those are fantastic opportunities to upskill and really become leaders in this field.
Become the mold experts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for everyone else, knowledge is power.
Right.
By understanding the risks and taking sensible precautions,
Okay.
you can create a healthier and safer environment for yourself and for your family.
I love that knowledge as a tool to build a healthier future.
That's what it's all about.
But before we get too comfy with our mold-busting hats on,
Right.
I do have one last question for you.
All right.
We talked about what to do if you suspect mold.
Right.
But what about prevention?
Ah, good old prevention.
And exactly. What's one simple thing our listeners can do in their own homes or workplaces right now
Okay.
to get ahead of this whole mold issue?
Ventilation, my friend.
Ventilation.
Seriously, most people totally underestimate the power of good airflow.
Okay.
Open your windows, even for a few minutes each day.
Even in winter.
Even in winter, air out your home. And those bathroom fans,
Oh, yeah.
make sure they're vented properly and actually use them.
Yes.
During and after showers.
Yeah.
Don't let that moisture build up and create a breeding ground for mold.
Right. It's like that saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly.
We focus so much on fixing the problem after it happens,
Right.
but sometimes the simplest actions can really make all the difference.
And it's not just about preventing mold either.
Yep.
It's about creating a healthier indoor environment overall. I mean, we spend so much time indoors these days.
So true.
It's essential to be mindful of the air we breathe.
I love it. Well, this has been truly eye-opening.
It has been.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to tackle any rogue mold spores that come my way.
Me too. I'm feeling empowered.
Empowered, exactly.
Yeah.
And for our listeners out there,
Yes.
remember, if you do suspect a problem,
Don't wait.
get it checked out. Reach out to a qualified professional.
Absolutely.
It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, we hope this deep dive into the hidden dangers of mold was as informative and empowering for you as it was for us.
It's been fun.
It really has been. Remember, folks, knowledge is power. Stay curious, and most importantly, stay healthy.
Here